back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. I'm JC, contemporary fiction author and poet. I have a blog, an online magazine, an online store. I post videos here on Mondays and Fridays. I live stream on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I also have a Patreon if you want to become a member, or Ko-fi if you would like to tip me for future creative endeavors. Today's video, I wanted to talk about coping with chronic pain while balancing your writing. And I've been wanting to do this video for a while, but I didn't want it to, I'm not an expert, so I didn't want to try to sound like I was an expert. And I also wasn't sure if giving advice on these things was something I should do, given that I'm still working on practicing these things myself. But, you know, some of these things may be able to help someone. Maybe somebody hasn't thought of something I'm going to say here. And maybe someone out there would just like to know that someone else is struggling with trying to cope with chronic pain, illnesses, and also have a career in writing, and they're not alone. So I decided to go ahead and just make the video. Y'all know I'm not an expert. I've never claimed to be. These are steps or tips, whatever you want to call them. But again, I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor. While I have a psychology degree, I am not a practicing psychologist. So I am in no way, shape, or form telling anyone to do anything. These are just suggestions. These are also things that I need to also better practice. And because I need to better practice them, you know how that saying goes, we're really good at giving the advice that's needed, but not so great at taking it. Yeah, that's me. So, I developed chronic pain issues probably a little after my accident in 2014. And I know I've told this story here before, but they're on videos way back. So unless you've been watching me from the very beginning, you may not have heard this story. But I was in an accident that, and before that accident, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. So I had already been dealing with that, but I had already been working on beginning a healthier lifestyle in the gym. I was in the gym 5 days a week. I had gotten to the point where I was, dare I say, addicted to going to the gym, but I really loved the endorphins that the gym gave you, and it also was helping me lose weight, although rather slowly, because I have an extremely low metabolism and it takes me a very long time to lose even a little bit of weight. But the weight loss was helping with the RA. Like, I still had flare-ups from the RA and stuff, but it was getting a little better because I was doing the healthy in the gym thing, and that was helping. So 2014, I was in an accident where I was walking across the street in the AutoZone parking lot. I still cannot go to that AutoZone parking lot. And I was hit while I was walking across the street by a black 4x4 pickup truck. The impact, initially it didn't feel as if it felt like I dodged a bullet. Like I had put out my arms to kind of basically throw me to the side, which is probably the only reason I'm still here. The witness that witnessed the accident thought that they had witnessed someone just get killed. So after the accident, I went to the hospital the next day. I didn't go initially because at the time I felt like I had dodged a bullet, like I was fine. But the impact set in and the pain set in, and I had a sprained back, not a fractured hip, but I think they just said it was a bruised hip or something like that. But the hip bone was bruised on my right side. So bruised hip bone, sprained back, some injury to my wrist from my right hand and shoulder, and oh my God, what it was? Oh, the knee, because I hit the ground, which explains the right knee, because the right knee is the one that needs a knee brace. But because when I hit the ground, my knee hit the anyway. So all of that, and I still have not been able to, how do I say this? I just haven't been the same since that accident. Been to the gym maybe once since that accident and realized that was too soon, trying to come back to the gym, and then I just haven't gone back because I can't stand for longer than 5 minutes, and I can't, sometimes I can do 10, but my back will start to feel like it's on fire. My hip gets aggravated constantly. I have to wear a knee brace every time I go out. I'm in pain every day, almost every minute of the day. Sometimes it's a level 10, sometimes it's a level 8. There are days when it's a level 12, and today actually feels like it's a level 11 right now, because my knee is throbbing and I just hurt. So today is one of those days where I'm going to have to do some heavy balancing here, because as you can see, I'm out of the house. So on outing days, but we'll get to that. So outing days, I have to treat differently. So that brings me to my steps or tips. But I just wanted to give my history, and when I started dealing with chronic pain issues and having to find a balance. And my mind, for years, kind of was in denial and would not admit that I had chronic pain issues because I didn't want to. I didn't want to admit that I wasn't my old self. I didn't want to admit that I couldn't do the things that I used to do. I didn't want to admit that I, was probably never really gonna go back to the gym and be as active in the gym like I used to be, which is probably why I haven't really tried to go back, because I know myself and I will push myself past the point that I should push myself, because I will tell myself, my brain will tell me that I can do the things that I used to do in the gym, and I can't. So I just don't go. I do some home exercises when I feel up to it, but most days it's hard. It hurts. So I've it took some time for me to actually admit. People would be like, "You dealing with chronic pain?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." I just didn't want to admit it. It wasn't that I felt ashamed. I just didn't want to be. I didn't want things to be different. I've always had an issue with. I wouldn't say I've always had an issue with mobility, but I've never been the fastest. I've never moved athletically. I've never moved as quickly as other people. So I've always, struggled with athleticism. And I felt like right at around the time when the accident happened, I was just starting to really get the hang of being athletic in some type of way in the gym, and all that was just gone. And I hadn't really come to terms with it. And recently I'm coming to terms with it, because I just don't have a choice. So, gets me to steps or tips, if you will. Number 1, understand how much you can manage. And what I mean by that is, if your chronic pain issues allows for you to have a day where you go out and still be able to do the writing that you need to do, then that's great. and it's good for you to know that. But if you are anyway like me, where your outing days are going to leave you completely unable to do any writing for hours after you've gone back into the house, then you need to know that. You need to know that maybe your physical task will need to be on the days that you go out or whatever. Those physical tasks will need to be on that day. And then that maybe when you get back in the house, maybe that will be days where you read, where you just, because reading is fundamental to writing. The two go hand in hand. So maybe those will be just days where you read. If you are a person who does beta read, or proofread. And then on the days when you don't go out is when you could fit in your writing days and all the stuff that goes with writing and admin and whatever. I tend to, because I'm a night owl and I write in the wee hours of the morning, like at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, I am technically still able to write on days that I go out, because I am technically writing before I go out. I'm writing, just imagine if you were to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and write and then go out later, then that's different as well. I don't get up at 5 in the morning. I'm still up at 5 in the morning. I haven't gone to bed at 5 in the morning, but I write at like 2 to 3 in the morning. So that, like today I'm out, but I've already written for the day. At 2 to 3 was my writing time. So just know the best way for you to manage your time as far as the days when you go out and the days when you write. And if you can manage to do both on the same day, and they just have to be like hours and hours apart from each other, that's great. But these are things that you need to know beforehand. Number 2, don't push your body past its limit, because the recovery time you will end up needing will only take more time away from your writing. This is one that I am still struggling with. Because as I said, my mind always tells me I can do things that my body is like, no, you can't. You can't do those things. Not anymore. So if your body tells you to stop, listen to your body. Your body knows better the recovery time it is going to need. And you should listen to your body, because trying to push past and do more, you're just going to end up more injured, if you will. There are times when I'm like, I want to do more writing, and then my wrists will end up hurting the next day, and I've pushed myself past the limit that I should have because I didn't listen to my body when it said to stop. Number 3 is writing is also mentally taxing, which ultimately affects your physical well-being as well. So know when you've reached a good stopping point. You don't have to write for 8 hours a day. There are some that can. Kudos to them. I used to be a person who could write not 8 hours straight. I would have to split it up, like maybe 4 and then 4. But I don't do that anymore either. But because writing involves a lot of sitting, which can cause physical discomfort. Your wrists can become inflamed, or if you have any kind of arthritis issues, your wrist will start to hurt if it goes past the point of the point where your body is comfortable with it. Some people think that writing is not physically taxing, but it definitely can be, because you're using your wrist, you're sitting down, which is using those muscles that you used to sit down with, and a lot of things. Your back can also start hurting if you're sitting down too long. And see, with me, it's kind of a catch-22, because sitting for too long causes me a lot of physical pain. Standing for too long causes me a lot of physical pain. So it's kind of like, I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. And then you have the whole wrist situation, where if I write for too long, my wrists will start hurting. And yeah, so if you are a person who cannot write 8 hours a day, that's perfectly fine. Obviously, if you have chronic pain issues, you probably won't be able to write that long. You need to know when is a good time for you to write and how much time. And don't get hung up on, oh, that's such a short amount of time writing. Am I even a writer if I'm only writing for 2 hours a day or an hour a day? Because when you have chronic pain issues, you just can't think like that, because then you're going to be doing something and pushing your body to do something because you want to be seen a certain way in society, and that's just, it's not fair to your body or you, and that it's just not accurate. Number 4, create a schedule that works for where you are now, not where you were 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. Your mind can try to trick you into believing that you are not so chronically ill that you can't just power through and push past the pain. Don't do that. Listen to your body. This goes back to the other one. Listen to your body. You know what your body's limits are, and make the schedule that accordingly, that with room to adjust. Okay, so I will flash on the screen at some point my schedule that I've made for myself for this week. And there are some blank spots in it where there's nothing in there. We can call it free time, if you will, or we can just call it in case I need a break time. But I have days where I have errands, and then there are the days where I don't go anywhere and it's the admin task and whatever. But I very specifically have the days that I have errands or whatever are the days where you will find that I'm doing more beta reading, because the reading might be all that I can handle when I get back from those errands. And I need to learn how to manage that time. And I have my focus writing time scheduled in there. And right now I'm doing a personal curriculum, so I have that on there at the moment. But when that's not on there, it probably would just be more admin tasks and things like that. So I know some people may not be on board with doing a schedule. They just want to wing it or whatever, and that's fine. It's just a suggestion. I need the structure. And even though my chronic illness is anything but structured, because some days are better than others, and some days are worse than I ever imagined they would be. So it's not really a way to plan for the amount of pain I'm going to be in, because I don't ever know the amount of pain I'm going to be in. Some days it's surprising that I'm not in as much pain as maybe the day before. But what I can plan is for the things that need to be done on a day when I'm not going anywhere, or on a day when I'd have to go somewhere. What do I get done then to maintain productivity but still listen to my body? And the last one, number 5, is to give yourself grace and grace days. Don't beat yourself up for taking the time you need to just rest and recharge. And I put in my notes, it is okay if you need more rest days than the average person, because you are not dealing with an average problem. Chronic illness is not something to be ashamed of or apologize for. I think I put that in there for me. I do find myself having to apologize, or feeling like I have to apologize for me being in pain, and for me needing to take a break, or me needing to rest or recharge. And that's not right. That's not fair to myself. And no one's asking me to apologize. That is a me thing. That is a I feel I have to be that way thing. And for a while, I did feel ashamed to have chronic pain issues because I felt like I wasn't normal for some reason, which is crazy and totally not true and not accurate. And I don't feel that way now, but I did for the longest time, which is probably why I was in now for the longest time about, oh, I have chronic pain issues. But grace days are good. They are good to have. Build them in. It is fine. You need to rest and recharge, because the thing is, if you don't recover and rest and recharge, you're not any good to anyone, and you're not good to your art and your craft, because you can't pour into your craft if you're struggling and if you're not fully able to put your mind into it. That makes sense. But those are my tips or steps, or whatever you want to call them, that I have for anyone who is dealing with chronic pain issues and chronic illnesses and trying to cope and balance writing at the same time. I hope something I've said here helps. I hope that you know that you're not alone if you are a fellow chronic pain person who is also a writer. You're not alone. I'm here with you, and we can get through all of this together. We can have grace days together. I'm gonna need a big rest when I go back at the house from doing laundry, and I'm gonna do a lot of reading, hopefully, today. And it's fine. Rest is good. Rest is necessary. And I think if we remember that, it'll be easier to balance the two, writing and dealing with the chronic pain issues, and not feeling so, how do I say this? Feeling like you're not doing everything that you should be doing writing wise, which is how I feel a lot of the time, because I don't write as many hours as I used to write. I don't write as often as I used to write, because some days I just can't, and that's okay. Well, that is enough of me yammering. That's going to be it for this video. And if you like what you see and you want to see more videos from me, make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button. I post videos on Mondays and Fridays. I live stream on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As per usual, if you would like to be supportive of me in any of my creative endeavors, such as my blog, my online magazine, my online store with writer merch, becoming a member of my Patreon, tipping me on my Ko-fi, buying my books on Amazon, or reading them in Kindle Unlimited, all of those links can be found in the description box below. And until next time, take care of yourselves, give yourself some grace, and have a blessed day. Bye.